Hey everyone, here I am in George Street, Sydney, and today we'll be looking at Persevering in Faith. My name is Consuelo, and this is Fire to Flames Devotions. And the reason why I'm filming here is because there's an amazing story of a man called Frank Jenner of George Street. A lot of Australians have heard of him, but you may have not. He used to be a sailor for England and the US, and then he became a sailor for Australia. And he was saved actually by my friend's grandfather, I believe, and he became very determined to share the gospel with people. So he would go to George Street most days and hand out tracts, and he would say to people, if you die tonight, do you know whether you'll go to heaven or hell? And some people think that question is corny, but listen to this. There was a man in England called Francis Dixon, and he was at a conference and he was speaking, and through that process they realised that two people had been saved in the same way when they'd been visiting Australia as sailors. And it was by some man who came up to them with a tract and asked them if they died tonight, would they go to heaven or hell? Now, this made Francis Dixon very curious, and he actually ended up coming over to this part of the world, and he actually ended up meeting this man, Frank Jenner. And through Francis Dixon's life, in completely different countries, in completely different ways, he actually met 10 people who had been saved through what Frank Jenner did. And some of them went on to lead missionary groups and be soul winners themselves. So that is actually pretty amazing. So what does it have to do with persevering in faith? So Frank Jenner persevered because when Francis Dixon went to visit him, he had no idea that all these people had been saved by this man who had gone to George Street, handed out tracts and asked the question, if you died tonight, do you know whether you'll go to heaven or hell? So when we do God's work, sometimes we might feel like we're not getting anywhere, but if we're faithfully sharing the gospel and in all its truth, not leaving out anything, and in love, and we are showing God's love and we're doing His work, then I can say automatically there are outcomes, there is fruit, and we can have faith that whatever we do will be watered and will be increased by God. So continue in your evangelism activities, in your love towards others, in the things that God has called you to do, and do them in faith, believing that God Himself is faithful. The scriptures say that Jesus is faithful and true, and it says that He is full of grace and truth, and the truth will make us free. So continue to share the truth of God, walk in faith, and faith is to put all your reliance, all your confidence in Jesus Christ, the one that died for us on the cross. Our sins were put on Him, and He was raised to life that we may die to self and be raised to new life too. So persevere in your faith. Persevere in the things that you have been given by God to do, because He is a good God, and He will provide, and He will give, and He will protect. Persevere in faith. God bless you.